President Trump's declaration that the U.S. would run Venezuela after arresting its leader has drawn some comparisons to the U.S. intervention and war in Iraq. CBS Evening News anchor Tony Dokoupil asked Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Saturday about how this weekend's action is different from what was done more than 20 years ago.
It's the exact opposite. I mean, we spent decades and decades and purchased in blood and got nothing economically in return. And President Trump flips the script. He says through strategic action, we can ensure that we have access to additional wealth and resources, enabling a country to unleash that without having to spend American blood.
CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins me now. Sam, do you agree that this was the exact opposite of Iraq?
Well, Lindsay, I started my career in Iraq in 2007. And so what I can tell you is it's just too soon to tell. We don't have the details yet on how President Trump and his administration will ultimately, or whether they'll ultimately be able to allow Venezuela to unleash its economic potential and whether American companies will benefit. We still don't know what the plan is to stabilize the country, run the country, and ultimately to convince companies that make business-oriented decisions that is safe enough and stable enough to make the long-term investments that are really needed to get oil out of the ground in Venezuela. So it's too soon to tell. I will say this, though. Venezuela is about twice the size of Iraq, and we spent hundreds of billions of dollars in Iraq alone. We had the Coalition Provisional Authority and many follow-on ambassadors, civilians, and hundreds of thousands of members of the military, and we still could not stabilize that country. So we learned some lessons from that experience for sure.
Are there concerns this could set a precedent for the U.S. to do this with other countries it sees strategic value in, say, Greenland or other Latin American countries?
I am hearing concerns in Europe and elsewhere in the Western Hemisphere from colleagues there that the United States could do this again. We've seen remarks by the Prime Minister of Denmark. The President of Mexico brushed these off a little bit as rhetoric, but certainly there are concerns that this may be a precedent for the United States to continue this. And frankly, that this could just open the door for other countries to say that they are just pursuing their own objectives in their own hemispheres. Obviously, Taiwan comes to mind when we think about China. So it's both about the U.S. perhaps setting a new precedent for ourselves and other countries viewing U.S. actions as a green light to follow suit.
Sam Vinograd, thanks so much.
Thank you.